All right. Good morning. Good morning. On my way to the gym. My thoughts. All right. So today we're gonna do a little roundabout assessment trial study for the Model S Plaid. Yeah, roundabouts. I think will be it'll be interesting to see if they actually solve this problem. So let's find out, right? So this is the first one, right? It's it's like a double roundabout. There's a car coming, it keeps going, and I'm not assessing any awkwardness. And good job. Okay, so I was successful. I'm usually successful in that first one. As I stated, it's a double roundabout, right? So that first one is usually successful, but sometimes it gets a little creepy, especially when there's other vehicles either coming from the other, right, coming in, right, from the circle itself, or other vehicles to my right. Like, you know, it seems like general awkwardness. And the other issue too is that the lines are not clearly identified. So this is a beautiful day because there's no one next to me. So let's see what happens, okay? So I'm approaching nice and slow. Here's where it usually gets awkward. Let's see if anything changes. And it kind of got awkward there because it switched lanes awkwardly, but misses turn. Not bad, but let's see what actually happens when I reactivate it. It's probably not gonna let me reactivate because it doesn't see lane lines. That was as close as it's ever gotten to doing it. And I activated it right before the turn, and they made the turn this time, right? So, you know, marginal C average, right? So that's the thing about FSD. You know, sometimes there are situations that let's call them corner cases, edge cases. That's obviously one of them, the roundabout. Let's look at what this looks like on other roundabouts, maybe in the DC area. All right, so here I am about to attack, let's call it roundabout number 2. Now this one should be a little bit better managed because there are, yep, exactly. There are lines that should clearly designate like what path to take. So my hope is that FSD beta does not let me down, and it successfully navigates through this one. It's actually doing pretty good. And you know, this is the middle of DC, right? So this is by the George Washington Hospital, close to the best restaurant on earth, found in Farmers. And it actually does pretty good, right? So in the battle for roundabouts, it is 100% evident that if we have lines, then we should be fine. Now this is interesting. Are you gonna get me away from these barriers there? Fantastic. Okay, good. Yep. So that was just another quick test. But yeah, so if we have lines, we should be fine. So now let's go to DuPont Circle and see what that looks like. Okay, I figured on my way to DuPont Circle, we'll see. We'll see what other DC adventures we can execute today. Like this left turn that I think might be problematic, but let's find out. Yeah, I think just after playing around with, I mean, you saw like in the previous circle, there were all these random little uncertainties in the beginning, and then it actually executed the turn. Now I need to make a straight left turn, and there's so much hesitation, but it's actually going. Like I said, part of my challenge with FSD is like the hesitation. I think causes problems for other drivers. It could. I mean, I say it does. It could, because they would probably wonder like, what the heck is that person doing? Yeah, I think this has been a pretty positive FSD day, aside from the random points of uncertainties going through certain circles. But yeah, we'll probably fast forward to DuPont. All right, so here I am approaching DuPont Circle. This famous circle that some of us remember having, you know, amazing, let's call it adventures in years ago, maybe before COVID. Okay, oh, look at this, I'm making this right turn. Just make the damn turn, buddy. Yes, yes, go. Okay, that was actually pretty good. I don't know why you're stopping, but no, pretty good. All right, so DuPont Circle is interesting because this is a lined circle, but it does have like certain tiers, right? And you can only make turns on specific like tiers of the circle, right? Sometimes you can make them from inside, sometimes you can make it from outside, almost like an onion. So this is interesting here. So the pedestrians don't curb the rims. Okay, don't curb the rims. What do you do? What do you do? So I'm kind of accelerating slightly to get it to move. It is at least responding appropriately by, you know, adjusting the steering wheel and stuff like that, but took me to the furthest left lane. So you can probably see the divider in between. So remember I talked about there are different layers. There's an inner layer and there's an outer layer. And the outer layer is in place for people who have to make, I guess, local exits versus going directly either straight through or yeah, I think straight through is probably the best way to say that. So like for me, I'm going straight through, but because I entered through a local, from a local point, I had to stay in the outer, you know, part of the onion, let's call it. A pretty famous circle or landmark in DC, DuPont Circle. I mean, it's a roundabout, but it's a very complicated roundabout because of just the sheer amount of exit points, right? So if I look at the map, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potential points of exit, which I think that's pretty robust. Pretty robust. Okay. So this is interesting. Let's see what happens. Okay, good. So FSD goes in that right like it's supposed to. Now, what is gonna happen here? There's a truck. Because that truck is there, obviously it can't get me there. So I had to take over, but yeah, that was pretty okay. It was okay because I think if I was on the right lane, they would have done the turn. But why did I give up so early? Let's see. Yeah, I kind of gave up early because of the fact that the truck was there and I didn't want to play the decisive game, but yeah, so it didn't work out. Nonetheless, that was fun. Like I said, it does pretty well, assuming there's lines. The lines worked out. Anyway, thank you for joining me on my roundabout journey. Yep, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.